The Great Lakes are one of America's most popular hotspots, with visits from tourists averaging out in the millions each year. As one sits on the lakes and looks out over the vast expanse of water stretching out in a seeming infinity before him, it may not occur to him to ponder the longest enduring mystery of the Great Lakes. If one does wish to ponder the mystery, our journey must begin in 1679 on the shores of Cayuga Lake with a man by the name of René Robert Cavelier. Better known as La Salle, Cavelier was a French explorer and fur trader in America. He is often credited, whether true or not, as having been the first explorer to traverse the waters of the mighty Ohio River. During the 1670s, La Salle began to entertain the idea that there was a point at which the Great Lakes let out into the Pacific Ocean. This idea was apparently held by a few people at the time, and in keeping with his reputation as an explorer and an adventurer, La Salle built a ship meant to sail the waters of the Great Lakes and discover the fabled Northwest Passage. Though the size and construction of the ship was entirely unknown, many who have researched this story believe that she was a 45-ton bark. Though this cannot be verified, we do know a few bits of information. We know at the time of her sailing she was the largest vessel ever to enter the Great Lakes. We also know that she was built with 7 cannons, and we know her name, Le Griffon. And on August 7th, 1679, La Salle set sail across the uncharted waters of Lake Huron with 32 men aboard ship. His mission was to map the then uncharted waters of the Great Lakes. 31 days after launch, on September 18th, 1679, the crew made a stop at an unidentified island and disembarked to trade furs with the natives. Later that day, after the fur trade was completed, the ship was sent back to Niagara, manned by a crew of 6. It would never be seen again. Somewhere along the way, the ship and its crew of 6 seemingly vanished into thin air. Le Griffon is considered to have been the first ship sinking of note ever to have occurred in the Great Lakes. As such, it has been the subject of an extraordinary number of searches spanning over 3 centuries. In fact, many people have devoted their entire lives to finding the ship. Jokingly, people refer to it as the most found ship in America, because people make constant claims to having found it when any piece of debris is stumbled upon. Much speculation exists surrounding the fate of Le Griffon. Almost immediately following the disappearance of the ship, La Salle began to investigate the idea that the natives attacked and sunk the ship and stole the fur pelts that had been obtained by trading. As he spoke to the men of the nearby tribes, he heard rumors that seemed to indicate that men who bore a resemblance to his crew were spotted wearing pelts of fur, much like the ones that they had recently traded. Though he was never able to catch up with these men, La Salle became convinced by the reports that the men, rather than the natives, had sunk his ship and made off with the furs. Others are not convinced. Some say it was more likely that a strong wind capsized the ship and sank it without any malice from the crew. Some even blamed Jesuits for the misfortune. La Salle died 8 years after the events in question, with strong suspicions and nary an answer. In any case, America's most found ship remains lost 3.5 centuries later. Where is the wreck of the first lost ship of the Great Lakes? Or did it wreck at all? Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's still floating somewhere out there, just waiting to be found. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.